Welcome back. Yesterday, we talked about the Liturgy of the Word. The Liturgy of the Word is the part of our communion service where we say prayers, we sing songs, and we hear stories from Scripture. Do you remember those four parts of Scripture that we hear stories from? The Old Testament, the Psalms, that's right, the New Testament, and the Gospel. Yes, those four parts of Scripture where we hear stories from each week when we gather together. Now, I mentioned to you that after we did the Liturgy of the Word, it was time for something called the offertory. Now, the offertory comes from the word offering. And when we offer something, we give something to someone, right? And I want you to see me right here holding these plates, they're kind of like bowls, really. We call these offering plates. And I want you to be able to see back there as well to our organ. Because during the offertory, that's a time that we are all able to offer something back to God as we get ready to share in communion together. Miss Peggy will be back there most of the time playing a song for us. If we're in the big church, she has her choir with her and they sing a song with her. Here in the little church, she normally has 1, 2, maybe 3 people back there singing with her, offering up a song to God. And while they're offering up a song to God, you get to make an offering to God into the church as well. What happens is our ushers, they come from way back there. They come up, they take these plates. Our acolyte will give them these plates like that. And then they go and they collect the offering. Now, the offering might be in an envelope. The offering might just be some money. The offering might be a prayer request that somebody's put in there. The offering might be a handful of change. Any offering that's put into the offering plate is a good offering. There's something else that's happening, though, while Miss Peggy is playing and while the offering is being taken up. I'm going to show you what that is right now. Father John, Father Pete, and I are up here getting the table ready for communion itself. Just like you have to set the table at home before you have a meal, we have to set the table before we have communion here. So I'm going to help you. I'm going to let you see what we're doing when we do that. We call this the stack. I don't know if that's the technical name for it, but that's what we're going to call it right now. So on our stack, we've got a couple of different things. We've got this right here. You see it says Alpha, Omega, Chi, Rho. Those are symbols of the church. This right here is called a veil. It covers up what we're using for church to make everything look nice and pretty. This is called a pall. I'll show you what we do with that in just a second. This is called a paten. It looks like what? What does that look like? Looks like a plate, right? On that, we have our piece of bread. This is called a purificator, kind of like a napkin. And this is our chalice. What do you think we put in here? What does it look like? Looks like a cup. This is what we put the wine and the water in. After we've got everything set up like that, we've got our paten with our bread. We've got our chalice. We will take a little bit of wine and a little bit of water. I don't have any in there today, so we're just going to pretend we're doing it. Pour that in there. Pour this in there, just a little bit. And then, if there's an acolyte here, I give these back to the acolyte. And I make sure that everything looks the way it needs to look. If we do this right, it's a nice little setting for the meal that we are about to share. And right as we're finishing this up, what's happening behind us is the ushers are finishing taking up the offering. Let's see what they've got for us. The ushers have gone out, they've collected the plates for us, and at this point, what we do, now that we have accepted the plates and we have the table set, we offer these up to God as we get ready for communion. So this is what we do at this point. You might recognize this song. We take the plates, we hold them up like that, set those off to the side like that. We take the bread and we take the wine and we hold it up like that. We say, all things come of thee, O Lord, and of thine own have we given thee. Amen. And we set them down. And then, after that, we are ready for communion. We are ready for the third part of our service, the liturgy of the table. Come back later and we'll talk about that. Thanks a lot, y'all. Bye-bye.